Hi, it's Shoivia and I'm here at Parkside School. Today I'm going to give you a lesson on composting. What I found out is that there's several ways to compost. One way that I learned when I went to the Occidental Arts and Ecology Center is that you can create a really nice pile and then you leave the pile for about 6 months and just let it do its work, and then in the end you have beautiful rich compost. So that's the style that I'm going to teach you today. But like I said, people have different techniques. Some people like to get out and add stuff to their compost and turn it a lot, which kind of creates a faster moving compost, kind of like baking a cake or something like that. There's a lot of different ways to do it. So I'm going to go ahead, and the first thing you need to know is there's 4 main ingredients in a compost pile. The first ingredient is air. The second ingredient is water. The third ingredient is green material, or things that are rich in nitrogen. The fourth ingredient is things that are brown that are rich in carbon. So in order to get a nice compost pile, you need all those ingredients. You need your pile to be at least 3 feet by 3 feet. You can't make it too small. You need a good start so that it can have enough energy to keep going. So the first thing you're going to need when you make your compost pile is to put some big sticks on the bottom. This could be the stalks of your sunflowers that you grew this summer, or maybe the stalks of a big kale plant. And you want to crisscross the big sticks on the bottom so that the air can go underneath your pile. It's similar to making a fire. When you make a good fire, you want to make sure that there's enough air at the bottom, otherwise your fire kind of gets suffocated out. So you go ahead and you put your big sticks first, and then you'll do a layer of smaller sticks after that, and then you'll do your first nitrogen-rich layer, which could be consisting of green material from your garden, like plants that you've pulled up. It could be grass clippings and other nitrogen-rich material that are in the green category are manures. So things like grass clippings really get your pile going pretty fast, or other compost that's already been, digested into nice compost. That'll also get your pile going. And then after you add your green layer, you'll add a layer of carbon, which could be consisting of dried leaves, straw. It could be little dried twigs and branches, anything that's got a lot of carbon in it. And then after that, you'll do a nice watering with your hose, a water layer. And then you stack it again. Then you just leave your nice pile to do its work for about 4 to 6 months, and you've got beautiful compost to add to your garden. Here I cut down some sunflower stalks, and that's a good base for the bottom of your pile. And you always want to start your pile on your native soil, on the ground. You don't want to put it on top of something else. You want to touch your soil. This is the area we're going to start our compost pile. This is where the compost pile was previously last year, and it's actually left behind some pretty rich, beautiful compost, as you can see. This is kind of what you want it to look like in the end. It smells really earthy. These are the bigger sticks and stalks that I had from this year's Parkside garden. There's a sunflower and a couple other thicker branches that we're going to put down first. All right, that's a pretty good beginning for our compost pile. Now we're going to go to the next layer, which is going to be some smaller sticks. Okay, we added some smaller sticks, which is the second part of making your pile. Okay, we just added some littler twigs yet, and now we're going to start adding our nitrogen, our green materials. All right, some green nitrogen-rich material. We're going to go ahead and add some apples now. All right, so we've put a layer of apples. It's important to make your compost pile really even. All right, you can see that we've added our apples to our pile, but we've also added a little bit of fresh compost. This is going to be a catalyst to get our pile started. It's kind of like when you're getting a fire going and you put a little bit of starter in the beginning. This is going to activate it. It's going to get it going. Okay, as you can see here, I added a layer of brown material or carbon-rich material to our compost pile. The carbon material is kind of like the wood in a fire. The green material is like the fire, so this is going to keep it going. All right, here we go with a nice layer of water for our compost pile. It's important to keep your compost pile moist. Otherwise, all those bugs and beneficial organisms can't survive. That's also why you want to keep your compost pile in a shady spot so it doesn't dry out. Adding another green layer. Finished off our green or nitrogen-rich layer with some more compost and some more apples. Adding a little fresh compost to your pile is good because you introduce some worms and some other little bugs that already exist, so they can transform your rotting vegetables into beautiful compost. Yet another layer of brown dry material on top of our compost pile. Next, water again. Green layer. All right, look at that pile now. I just added another brown layer. I try to keep the top sort of flat so things don't fall off, almost like a little donut shape. And then water. Okay, this is going to be our final green layer. You always want to finish your compost pile with the brown carbon-rich material. This will help critters from wanting to get into your pile. And that was going to be our final layer. Last thing I'll do is just give it one good watering, and then we'll let it sit for a good 4 to 6 months until we get beautiful compost for our garden. A final watering for our compost pile.